Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bazil. Welcome to a feedback video that I want to address specifically to Carbine and the employees at Carbine that work on the PvP side of things. And I do appreciate you guys listening to this video, and I think it's important to know right off the bat that I'm going to call you guys out. I'm going to address topics that are very important to me and to the community, and I'm going to do so in a constructive, non-trolling, and non-asshole way. Might raise my voice a little bit, might get a little bit passionate, but just to let you guys know, I do support you guys 100% in any decision you guys make, even if I don't agree with it. I love your game. You guys have been doing a great job. I love the people that are employed at Carbine, and just kind of want to give that preference, or I guess teaser, before I actually give any of my feedback, so you guys don't get the wrong impression. So again, thank you for your time. I do appreciate everyone listening, especially if you are a Carbine employee. Thank you so much. So let's dig right into the meat of PvP, shall we? So I want to first talk about the perception of the PvP community and how it portrays to pretty much everything in terms of what the game is like right now. Currently, the PvP scene is terrible. There is queue times that last anywhere between 30 minutes to 210 minutes. I've seen screenshots of this. It's insane. And the main reason for people not queuing for PvP is because, quite frankly, you guys have kind of pissed off the community. And the reason is because you guys have stayed silent on pretty much anything that comes to PvP. You guys have a great PvE game. Wildstar is phenomenal in that aspect. Raids are great. Everything else is great. Lore is awesome, etc., etc. The PvP side of things has really not been, I don't want to say never been addressed. That's not fair. Drop 2 definitely tried to address some things. And Drop 2 had a lot of really good stuff. Sabotage was freaking amazing, even though we never see it pop anymore. And just the overall ideas that were going to be implemented that were not were really disappointing. And the random rune sets in PvP gear, I think, was kind of a slap to the face to those of us who really stuck around and really PvP for our enjoyment of the game. And I kind of want to start there, and just the lack of communication that we have received from really anybody in terms of where the PvP scene is right now. Obviously, the PvP lead is no longer with us, which is unfortunate. But a lot of people in the community think that he didn't do a good job. I agree and disagree to some points. He did a good job at being open and honest with us and giving us information and trying to at least provide us with the answers that he thought was acceptable. And in that aspect, he did a great job. In the other aspect, he did not. The PvP choices and changes that were implemented throughout the launch of the game were just not good, and was a poor decision on just any kind of everyone involved. And I don't say that to be negative or to say that you guys aren't doing your job correctly. I say that in the community has definitely stuck with you guys for as long as they possibly can. And I honestly think it's time that we are rewarded for that loyalty and that we are given some kind of answers. And quite honestly, not having any answers has pissed me off more than anything else. And the reason behind that is I'm okay with bad changes when it comes to balance, when it comes to gear, that kind of stuff. I'm okay with that as long as you explain it and say, hey, we messed up, or we think this is the correct decision, but change it later down the road. I honestly believe that when we look at the perspective of PvP, it genuinely is good when it comes to the enjoyment of PvP. But unfortunately, the community does not see it that way because we have been kept in the dark for so long. Honestly, we haven't had a really good conversation or answers since Drop 2. The previous PvP lead did try, but it definitely was obvious that he had to shoot around a lot of questions and give a lot of kind of political answers. And by that, I mean just like, yeah, cool, or it's being worked on, or maybe we'll see. That kind of crap needs to stop. Just not just in PvP, just in general. And in terms of how that relates to the PvP scene, I'm going to repeat this again. We have been kept in the dark, and we feel that we are not being listened to because no one is answering any of our questions. And honestly, it's gotten to the point where I just don't want to post feedback anymore, or I just don't want to participate in threads because I don't feel like I'm being heard. I don't feel like I'm being listened to. I don't feel that anything is being confirmed or addressed. It took anyone from Carbine way too long to address a issue that if you had high-level datascape gear, you couldn't queue for PvP at all because your rating was literally higher than the maximum you could get with 1800 gear. What the crap? That is unacceptable, Carbine. Completely unacceptable. And it took someone from the PvE side of things, time travel, to say, this is an interesting bug. I'll look into this. I'll bring it to the right people. Why was a PvE person that's in charge of raids going on to the PvP forums and saying, I didn't know about this, let me get it to the correct people? As soon as that post was made, Carbine should have been, holy crap, this is a major problem, we'll hotfix this tomorrow, or within a week. It's been over, I think, almost 2 months now, and it still has not been fixed? No. Unacceptable. No. And this has happened a lot of the times with a lot of things. Class balance, decision-making on certain changes, leaderboards, all this stuff. Start talking, Carbine. Start telling us what the heck is going on. And we need answers. I want answers because I love your game, guys. I truly love this game. I'm so passionate about this game. And I wouldn't be making this video if I didn't give a shit. So I give a shit. And I'm at the point where I am like, okay, I'm going to support the game, but I'm just done giving feedback and done giving suggestions. And I think a lot of the community is like that because over the last month, I've seen people that have been dedicated into PvP either quit or stop posting on the forums with feedback threads that have been good, legitimate feedback. And none of it's really ever been addressed. And we don't know who to talk to because we don't have a class lead right now at all. Like, who is it? No one knows. Like, I tweet Mark about most of my questions, and he's like, yeah, I'll pass it along. And Mark, man, if you're listening, dude, thank you so much for answering my questions on Twitter about PvP and, getting annoyed with everything. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your diligence with all that. I really, really do appreciate it, buddy. And again, I'm not saying any of this to be an asshole. I'm saying all of this because I am passionate about this freaking game. And I want to see communication. I want to see our problems, our suggestions, our feedback addressed. And that's the main problem right now with PvP. And I do believe that you guys can just make it super awesome and just carry it to the top and just be like, look what we have. Look at our arenas. Look at our war plots. Look at our rated battlegrounds. Look at all this cool stuff. None of these MMOs have it. None of them do. None of them have war plots like you guys do. None of them have arenas and the style of combat that you guys have. No one has that, guys. And if you capitalize on that and just go crazy and make sure that the community is feeling listened to and you're making all the correct decisions and just knocking all this really cool stuff out, it's going to be awesome. And I realize that stuff takes time. Development for anything, any class balance change, anything takes time. I get that. But we are almost 7 months into the game's lifespan, and we are honestly the black sheep of kind of Wildstar. And I just communicate with us, please. I'm gonna move on to the next topic that I want to talk about, and that is the way that class balance is handled. And right now, it's not in a good spot. And I don't claim to be the best PvPer in the game. I don't claim to, be part of the top dog team. But right now, if we look at the forums and we look at feedback, no one's really happy with the way things are in PvP in terms of balance. Before Drop 3, Warrior Medic was incredibly broken and overpowered, and it got worse with this drop. Why? It comes back to communication. It comes back to telling us what the hell your reasoning's for. And I get that balancing between PvE and PvP is hard as crap. I would not want that job. But other games do it. You can do it, and it's as simple as that. It literally as simple as that, guys. So step up. Start really listening to the community and saying, okay, they have good ideas. They have good suggestions. They know what they're talking about. Like it's all about making sure that the community is taken care of first and foremost. And I'm going to say that a lot through this video because that's honestly what it's about. So the balance needs to be addressed. The balance is just not good. Why are medics so stupidly powerful? Why do warriors get certain abilities that are off the global cooldown? Why do stalkers feel so much like a wet noodle? Why? Just answer questions. Answer things. Start addressing this, even if it takes 4 months to really get balance off. Balance 2 classes every month and just do it that way. The community would be just ecstatic about that. Even if you do 1 class a month or 1 class every 2 months, just start at the basics and work your way up. And that starts with balance. That starts with making sure every class feels fair and not like we're trying to just hope we don't get a medic warrior comp again or whatever. And that definitely sounds like some elitist complaining, and that's fine. But in all honesty, the balance of the game is just not good. And obviously, you guys know this. I'm everything I'm saying and telling you, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt that you already know because there's no communication, so we don't know if you know. I'm just assuming you know, but I'm just telling you. In relation to balance, gear is a problem. In Wildstar, there is no reason for gear to have gates on it. None. Why? Because the game is all skill-based. There literally is no auto-aim anything unless you're hacking, which don't do that. Cougar will find you. He's Batman. I don't understand the reasoning behind taking a old MMO system and putting it into a brand new game with completely different combat and saying, okay, well, you can use this set of gear, you can use this set of gear, and the differences are night and day. Why? There's no reason for it. And that's a huge turnoff to new players, to people that were trying to get into PvP. My guild just recently got an influx of brand new players or returning players, and we're trying to get them into arenas and battlegrounds, and they're getting frustrated because everyone that's already has 1800 gear are just rolling over them left and right. And some of it's skill, some of it's a skill differential, but there are times when it's an equal playing field and the people with the higher gear just win. And that's not fair in a game like Wildstar. You don't want that. You don't want your competitive scene to be gear-based. You want it to be skill-based. And, I got to throw Guild Wars 2 a bone here because they did PvP correctly. They allowed you to, everyone has the same stats, and it's all skill. It's all teamwork. And that's what Wildstar should be in terms of combat and in terms of gear. Now, gear progression, I understand, is a time gate, and you want people to play your game longer and sub longer. I completely understand that from a business standpoint. That makes sense. But it doesn't make sense in terms of balance and in terms of player enjoyment. I haven't queued in arenas because I focused on leveling and enjoying the game for the first few months, and wasn't one of the players that rushed to 50, got all their PvP gear, started arenas, and now has 1800 gear, and win trade and all that fun stuff. That we'll get to that later. So I still have my blue PvP gear because I enjoyed the game, but I enjoyed it at a slower pace than a lot of the other, super hardcore PvP players did. And it's not fair to hinder someone that really enjoys PvP, but they can't really break out of anything because they're a certain class, or they have blue gear on that just gets completely rolled over from other players that have higher level gear. So my suggestion is to completely remove rating from gear. Just completely remove it. Raise the prestige cap to 20,000 and have the grind right now, because the community is so small. And don't you dare say that it's a healthy community and it's a healthy population, because that's a bunch of bullshit. And everybody knows it. Remove the rating and simply make the gear grind prestige-based. Have the epics cost 20,000 apiece. Have the completely remove the arena gear and the battleground gear, and just have it one gear set. Now, when it comes to rating and special things that you can earn, the best thing to do is to tie that to titles, to mounts, to cosmetic items, to rare dyes, to housing decor, that kind of stuff. Players like shiny objects. I could give a crap about what kind of gear I have, because the game is not gear-based, the game is player skill-based. And that's what you guys need to focus on in terms of gear progression. And if you want to put war plots in a special kind of place where everyone can start off with, the epic PvP gear, if they've earned it, and they can get special privileges in war plots, or special abilities, or even like special gear that they can wear just in war plots, cool. That's fine. War plots are designed to do that, are designed to be a completely different style of progression outside of PvP because they're so unique. So remove the rating, raise the prestige cap, put the rating that normally would be there off the gear onto in-game shiny objects. And I think that would completely change the perspective of the way the community views PvP right now. And I think that would open the floodgates to getting newer players back into the game, because grinding prestige doesn't take long. That's fine. But you want people to have incentives for going in there. And right now there is none, because once you get the 1800 gear, what else are you going to do? Nothing. There's literally no end game for PvP right now. People win trade, people exploit, people do all this other BS that's horrible and stupid and should never, ever be done. And shame on those people for doing that. But in order to fix that with our small population, that needs to happen. So I hope you consider it, and I hope that kind of sparks your creativity juices, if you were. And that's kind of all I wanted to talk about. I don't want to talk about war plots as a whole, because they're so not ready to be discussed. They're still in the beginning stages. They, quite frankly, should not have been released with Wildstar yet, because they're just not done. And they're awesome, but to talk about them and try and say that they're not good right now is really unfair, because they're not a finished product, and there's too much room for improvement for them to be really kind of considered a viable PvP area, mainly just because the population is so low right now. Once the population grows and stabilizes, we can go back to war plots. They're fun right now, they're awesome, and let's just leave it at that. But I want to end on saying that I know you guys will make the right choice. I know that you guys will eventually improve the scene and eventually get there. But first and foremost, guys, communication. Stop leaving us in the dark. and we will thank you for it. We will respond positively. And those of you that don't, leave. I don't want you here. I don't care how good you are. I don't care what your rating is. I don't care about any of that crap. If you're an asshole, get out. We don't want you here. There's no place in this community for you because ego has no place in Wildstar. PvP is meant for fun. PvP is meant to be enjoyed, not to be flaunted in, a bar when you're drunk and be like, hey, baby, I got PvP rating. You want to go get naked? Like, who cares? I don't care if you're 2,700 rating in Wildstar. That doesn't mean crap. In fact, that means you've probably exploited to get there. So, thanks for listening, guys. Carbine, thank you for listening. If you guys listen to the whole video, awesome. Thank you very much. But I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts and reaction to kind of everything that's been happening because I do feel that it will get better. And as a community, we will grow. And as a community, we will continue to help Carbine along in the correct path. But Carbine, it is now up to you in your ball court. And if you keep fumbling and not giving us information at all, we're not going to stick around. And that sucks because this game is phenomenal and the combat is phenomenal. And PvP in this game is just fantastic and so much fun. So thank you very much for listening, Carbine. Thank you very much for listening, community. If you disagree with me, if you have any questions or comments that you want to address or whatever, post them in the comments below. Send me a PM on the forums. Talk to me in game. I am so willing to talk about this. And yeah, guys, thank you very much for listening. Have a wonderful afternoon, morning, or evening. We'll see you in Nexus. Remember to stay positive. God bless, guys.